All right, you guys, we're back here with another video. So, what would I do if I had to start over from ground zero? Let's talk about it. First thing I would do is get myself a stock camera kit. Generally, this comes with a one camera body and one camera lens itself. Generally, the camera lens is going to be a zoom camera lens, which is very helpful because it gives you a variety of what they're called focal lengths. So 18 millimeters, 50 millimeters, 30 millimeters. It gives you a variety of different looks in your picture when you need to go actually take pictures or capture video. The good thing about having a variety of photo lengths like this is that it gives you an opportunity to see what the compression does in your camera, and essentially you get to see how the images look different across these different focal lengths when you take the same image over and over again across these different focal lengths. I would get one of these camera kits and I would practice this for about 3 to 6 months. Go out and take as much as you can, as often as you can, and wear this thing out. You want to use it as much as possible day and night and become familiar with the ins and outs of this before you move on to anything else, because it'll greatly help in setting the foundation and helping you determine if you actually want to be a photographer, videographer, or a cinematographer or not. Following this, I would get some SD cards, preferably a 2-pack. Generally, you can get 128 gigabyte 2-pack of SD cards for about $30-ish on Amazon. So I will go ahead and get that. This dual pack of SD cards gives you 256 gigabytes of total memory, which will let you take thousands of pictures and get hours of video, at least at the stock camera level, because it's not going to be as much data as some of these higher end cameras. And it'll get you in a good place to get started to capture a lot of content and store it on the drive and get used to familiarizing yourself with using camera equipment, using camera gear, seeing how much data is taken on these actual memory cards, seeing how much capacity that you have to take pictures before you have to actually change them out for another piece of storage equipment. So definitely get these. Recommend getting these for a good few months. Understand the ins and outs of them. Make sure you maximize and utilize all the space on here so that way you know how much capacity that you have. Generally your camera will tell you, but it's a lot better if you go out and do it yourself because you get a lot more used to how many pictures you can take at a given time. Following this, I would get myself an ND filter, which are essentially just sunglasses for your camera, where you want to just lower the exposure of the overall image without changing your camera values. This is important because once you start getting out and mastering taking pictures, or even getting more proficient at taking pictures and capturing video, you're not going to want to change some of your camera settings because you're going to like specific looks that you get in camera, or it's going to be certain reasons that you can't change certain settings. So in order to combat this, we get this variable ND filter more specifically because it allows you the ability to change stops in your actual camera, which is essentially just lowering the overall exposure of your image. Generally, if you look at your camera's viewfinder, if you look at your live view mirror, you'll have an exposure reading, and generally it'll tell you like +3, +7, +1, +2, so on and so forth. When you get to +1, that's one stop. Generally, every time you go over a stop, you're overexposing your image, and vice versa. When you're going down a stop, you're underexposing your image. So to prevent your image from being completely blown out, you want to make sure that you put these sunglasses on your camera so that way you can capture great quality content whenever you're out in any lighting situation, especially that in the sun. Fourth thing I would get is a tripod. Generally, you can get yourself a tripod for about $40-ish. You just want a tripod that's sturdy enough to hold the weight of your camera as well as a few accessories on top of it. Generally, these cameras are going to be a little bit light since they're more stock cameras, so they'll be about like 6-ish pounds, 7-ish pounds at the most, plus a few options on top of it, say another 1.5 pounds. So no more than I'd say about 8 or 8.5 pounds that you'll have on top of this tripod, but it'll give you an opportunity to get stabilized footage without you having to get other things such as gimbals, rigs, shoulder mounts, so on and so forth. And it gives you an opportunity to get still life photography or do still images and get that shake out of your camera image or camera video without you having to manually hold your camera. So get one of these, take it out with you as well whenever you're going out shooting. Practice, practice, practice. You want to make sure that you're running this thing up as well, man. You want to put it through its motions, you want to toss it, you want to ding it, you want to bump into it and see how much resistance it gives you when it hits your body or when it hits your equipment or when it hits your backpack and so on and so forth. So get one of these as well. Lastly, I would get myself a speed light, which is also an on-camera removable flash. Generally, the stock cameras are going to come up with a pop-up flash, a little one that everybody's familiar with, just pops up and just flashes when you take a picture. These flashes are very hard, sharp, and just not good for your image. They're very harsh, they're not flattering at all, and more often than not, you can't really control the exposure values the way you want to. You have to let the camera do so, you have to let the camera judge what makes a good exposure for this flash. So get yourself a speed light because it'll let you control the direction of the light that you're spilling, It'll also let you control the intensity of it, and that's the main thing we want. We don't want to blow out our image. We don't want to overexpose the image, and we don't want to directly just drain that person's face with just flash. So you want to be able to turn it, direction it in different areas to create different creative looks, and you want to get a more flattering image on your actual subject's face, body, or just anything else that you're taking in the camera itself. So I recommend getting these 5 items. Once you get these 5 items, that'll run you about $670 or so, plus your local state tax. Let's just say around $750. Around $750, you get all the essential items that you need to get started for video and actual photography itself. You know, the camera, SD cards, ND filters, tripod, speed lights. You're ready for any situation that comes your way. You're ready to take daytime pictures because you have the camera, you have the ND filter to block out the sun rays. You have the ability to take multiple sets of pictures because you have multiple SD cards. You have a tripod, so that way if you need to get more stable footage, you can sit on the tripod and lower your shutter speed if you want to get a more creative look, or even speed up your shutter speed and have a stable look on your actual picture or video itself. And lastly, you have the ability to take pictures at low light because now you have a speed light, which gives you the ability to not have to over crank your ISO and not change your settings dramatically on the opposite end, like how we have to do in the sun at nighttime. So you're ready to go for any and all situations. You need to take all of these items, practice using them, get consistent, get familiar with all of these, and you want to put these through the motions. You want to run through all these items for a good 3 to 6 months, like I keep mentioning, because practice is important. You need to get these 10,000 hours in. The importance of running through these items for about 6 months is that you'll get more familiarity with them. You'll get used to them. You'll start to see the limitations with them. Like stock camera bodies. Oh, I only have one SD card. I keep running out of memory. Oh, this stock camera keeps running out of batteries. Like the battery's life's not good. Flash is not that hard. You know, the SD cards, oh my God, I can't save what I want to save because this video is taking too much memory. You know, this Typerod's too flimsy. Every time I bump into it, it shakes my footage. The wind shakes, so it's always some jitter in my footage, which is defeating the purpose of me having it. Oh, this ND filter has some color fringing. You know, I can't see my picture the way I want to see it because it's leaning a little bit more, way too much on the yellow side and creating vignetting whenever I go to a wider focal length. These are all the different things that you'll understand, you'll come to find as issues as you continue to use this equipment. And as you start to build a catalog of knowledge and you start to get that experience behind you, then you'll be ready to progress to the next set of camera equipment to say, okay, I can get an off-camera flash. Okay, I can get myself a higher quality speed light. I can get myself pro mist filters, diopters, create creative looks. I can get myself a high quality tripod that has a fluid head or that has, you know, detachable attachments that lets me get it down low to the ground because I want to be able to get low photography without physically putting my body down there. These are all things that just start to come to mind once you're more familiar with your equipment, you're more comfortable, and you just put in the time to really invest in the actual foundation of what camera work is. So that way you have more appreciation of your equipment going forward, and you'll selectively pick items that you actually need based on the need that you have at a given time, as opposed to just starting off buying intermediate level equipment. You'll get frustrated, you'll stop using it because you don't know what's going on, it overwhelms you. And then you just think, okay, I'm gonna go buy the most expensive equipment and think that's just gonna combat all my lack of foundation, all my lack of knowledge. Like, no, you're just putting yourself behind the curve and you're staying behind the curve because you won't take the time to get the foundation to invest into actually what makes a cameraman a good cameraman. So if you take these tips, you buy these 5 different things that I would do if I started from ground zero, you have a great foundation to get started. You'll have a wealth of knowledge at your disposal after 3 to 6 months. And then you can come back, you know, watch more of these videos, you know, shameless plug. And you'll be able to be a lot more insightful as to what you're going to purchase. You'll be a lot more mindful in where you spend your dollars, as opposed to just blindly just buying every single thing because your favorite photographer, videographer, cinematographer is recommending this new item that you have no idea what to use. You know, take the time, build a wealth of knowledge, give yourself those 10,000 hours, be a student of the game, and then over time, that experience will come, like those events, that notoriety, that professionalism, everything will come, but it all comes in baby steps. You have to crawl before you walk, you have to walk before you sprint, and you actually, before you sprint, you gotta run. Before you run, and then you run and sprint. Some people don't know the difference between them, but we're not gonna go into that because that's not what the video is. But yeah, that's basically everything that I have for you guys. If you enjoy videos like these, especially the ones I previously made, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And come back to the channel and grow with me as I continue to put out more content, more educational content for you guys. So that way I can make you guys the best camera people that you can be, as well as reinvest in myself into the knowledge of everything. So appreciate your time. Thank you.